Hey guys, welcome to the S Collective podcast. This is episode 15. My name is Ethan Miller.
Oh, I'm Carson.
I'm Ethan.
That one's Kelly. I'm
Kelly.
CJ Tackman.
Yeah, there's two Ethans to keep up with here on this podcast. So, I guess we'll just kind of get into it. Just question one. Holidays are coming up. Do any of you guys have any holiday traditions or family traditions that you guys like to do around this time of year?
My brother and I are going to run the turkey trot.
Are you going to do that again? Yeah. What was y'all's time last year?
I think I did it in like 18 minutes and he did it in like 17.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to beat him this year.
You're going to get it this year,
I
then?
think I got it.
Wild.
Mine's all going to see family up in Nebraska.
Oh,
Hopefully
heck yeah.
get to spend maybe half a week up there. So haven't seen my grandparents in a while. So
That'd be
it'll
cool.
be cool to see them again.
Yeah.
Every Thanksgiving, we just fry. Like, we go to a family friend's house in the morning, and from like 6 a.m. till like noon, we'll fry 10, 12 turkeys, a bunch of different like chicken wings, and like we'll make our own little donuts out of some biscuits, all kinds of. That's my favorite part about the holiday year right there.
That's awesome. My family and I, we typically go up to Arkansas to my grandma's, and we do kind of the same thing, right? We fry like 3 or 4 turkeys, hang out there literally all day, and just eat, sleep, watch football, drink, and just relax. So always love to do that.
It sounds like a good time.
We discussed in an earlier podcast just kind of Carson and I's beginning in our friendship and how we came to be, just kind of through high school and mutual friend groups and how it just kind of blossomed to what it is today. I'm more curious, what was y'all's kind of friendship looked like in the beginning? How did that all start out?
Well, we go way back to
We've known each other since like second grade.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I wouldn't say that we were like really, really friends until kind of same deal, like high school. Junior year, we took auto tech. This guy forgot to like sign up the year before, so like first day of junior year, he sees all of his boys going into the auto
I got
tech
a story
class.
behind it.
He's like, walks in. He's like, I'm an ag. Any way I can get in here? Like, how can I get in here? And Barkley's like, well, go talk to your counselor. See what can happen. I think we have space. Lo and behold, like a week later, this guy shows up, and around that time, I had my like landscape company, and I think like what really like blossomed our friendship is I needed help with that. I was supposed to start it with another friend of mine, and he like backed out on me kind of last second. And sitting in class one day, Ethan's talking about work, like wants to make more money, not really happy with his job. Like, if you want to work, like come work with me. I've got a little landscape company. I'm mowing a bunch of yards. I could use some help, get things done a little bit quicker. And he came, started working with me. We were friends. It worked out well. And, when COVID hit, like, we just ended up spending, like, every minute, every day, the first 6 months of COVID. We'd go work 6 days out of the week. We'd do all of our schoolwork in one day, help each other out, try and get everything done all in one day and get back to work the next day. Spend a night at somebody's house, or spending, the night over at somebody's house every night. And
No, it's funny because we were the same way too.
very
There was a
similar.
point where I think I lived at your house for like 4 months, 5 months, because everybody in my family just kept catching COVID back to back to back. And I was like, well, no point in being here. So
Yeah, I remember I had this futon in my room. It's like this couch folded out into a bed. Would he just pull it straight out into the middle of the room? Boom, bed up, bed set up.
Well, it was always convenient too because you just wake up and go straight to work and not have to. Because like before that too, we'd either pick each other up to go to work and just take one car. But once we were like just staying at each other's houses, we were like, well, we'll just take one car and it's all good to go.
Yeah, see, I always had a hard time waking up in the morning. So I remember this dude always like calling me a bunch of times, and I'll be like, oh, well, I'm up now. So, whenever the dude can actually just shake you to wake you up, it's a lot easier to get up in the morning.
sometimes you got to give him a little slap.
Yeah. Get a little cold water on him.
Yeah.
How long did you own the landscaping business for? I didn't know you did that.
Man, that was my first job ever. I think I started doing my first yard when I was 11 or 12. I was really young. My dad had saw it in like a Facebook group. He's like, "Would you be interested?" Yeah, I don't have any gear or like equipment.
Right.
And he's like, "All right, well, let's see what we can do." And like within a week, we had found like a $20 Toro mower on Facebook Marketplace. kind of ran, but didn't run well. I tried cleaning the carb, it didn't work. Ended up just buying. It was like $8 to get a carb off Amazon. So I started with that, and then I had built. Not too long after that, I was getting into mountain bikes, so I had bought like my first mountain bike. It was a big like Schwinn 29-inch.
Heck yeah.
Nothing special, but it, had big wheels.
Yeah.
And I went and got like a little baby stroller, like the trailers that you hook to your back of your bike.
Oh yeah.
I tore the frame apart, decked it with a little piece of like MDF, and I had like got my mower on there, and then I had like a breakdown edger and weed eater that broke into 3 pieces.
That's awesome.
So I built like a little rack, put everything on there, and I would go tow around my little mower and try and do like the yards that were close to us. And then once I started driving, that's really, I was like, all right, I want to like try and grow this, do something with it. And that was Prosper Landscape and Maintenance was kind of that was what I called it and everything.
Your OG roots.
But no, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't what I loved, So it was kind of when it went to move to working on cars.
I was gonna say it almost sounded like you used that as an opportunity to work on smaller engines and knick-knack with it though, and then just work your way in and be like, okay, I don't want to cut grass and do the yards. I just want to mess around with engines, and so go into cars.
More than anything, it gave me the capital and the opportunity to work on motorcycles and like start buying parts for my car or my truck when I started driving. My dad bought my truck for me, but it definitely. I tell everyone a lot of my experience before I ever started, touch a wrench on I don't know. I'm named after a Jeep, so I've been working on cars since I was like 2 years old. But like before I really started wrenching on my own on cars, it was always motorcycles, small engine repair stuff, and it's all the same thing. It's just scaled down. So that was really kind of where I got my start into everything, and like, I enjoy this, the problem solving, the fixing, taking things apart, figuring out what happened, putting them back together, figure out how things work. That way I can like try and diagnose what's happening without taking it apart. Like,
Right.
I loved all of that.
Not to get too far ahead too, but just kind of speaking of your startup, do you want to talk about just kind of what you recently were able to do too, and just kind of how all that's been going?
Yeah. So of course it's been a dream of mine, since I was a wee young boy. It's the core memory, I think, for me was back in 2006. I think Cars movie came out, and my 3rd birthday, my mom went to Walmart and bought a bunch of cardboard boxes, and we drew on them, like made little, like drew cars on them,
Right.
Mine was a Jeep, of course, because I'm named after a Jeep. But for my 3rd birthday, we made these little like race car boxes. We put straps on them and went and ran around the backyard like we were race cars,
That's awesome.
And that's been a dream of mine for my whole life. So, when I figured out about sim racing, I got, my first racing sim, and I started using it every night. And I always told myself, I said, someday you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to earn it. You're going to create an opportunity for yourself. Find a way to get into a race car. I said, whenever that day comes, you better be prepared for it. And, that day came. PT Autosport is an amazing company. I can't quote you their mission statement word for word, but they're trying to provide racing opportunities. This is brutal sport. It's very expensive, motorsports. And if you weren't born into it, it's something that, for me, it was always a dream. I was like, I'll never go be a pro driver, but it's something I want to do. It's something I want to pursue anyway. Half the reason that I started working on race cars is I just wanted to be around the sport. And PT Autosport, they're trying to provide opportunities for guys like me, dreamers, people of diverse, backgrounds that didn't have all of the capital to go do it on their own. And so they have a shootout every year. It's called the PT Autosport Aspiring Driver Shootout. And over the course of 8 to 10 months. It goes from 888 initial applicants all the way down to 8 finalists. I made my way into that final 8, and this last week, I was up at New Jersey Motorsports Park with the PT Autosport team. We got to drive the Janetta race cars. It was absolutely insane. Like, those were insane vehicles, so fast. It's not even that it was like that fast. It was just on a whole nother caliber of anything I'd ever driven, like. Made you feel good,
Right.
When you hear all those gears banging and everything. It was a dream of an opportunity. And I got second in that shootout. So now hopefully I have a little bit of help from PT Autosport. Everyone here at S Collective has been so supportive of me. Silvio's, I think, living vicariously through my dream. He might be a little jealous right now. But,
Definitely. I'm sure him and Danny both.
yeah. But it's, we're going to take it and we're going to run with it. And it's something I want to pursue. I'm willing to put the work in. I put the work in for, I don't know how long at this point. This is what my life revolves around. And
Man, it's awesome, though. I was watching, just kind of following your Instagram stories while you were out there, too. And that first Instagram clip you had of just like you when you're really young working on cars and then just kind of progressively getting older, I was like, that is awesome. But just, as you were saying, I think racing very much is looked at as like that rich guy sport. And unless you have a lot of money to throw around, you're not really going to get a chance to. So that's awesome. You got that opportunity. But it's even cooler the fact that there's that many people that have the same dream and think they have the same hustle and ambition, and you were still able to come out number 2 out of all of them. So I think that is inspiring, to say the least.
Yeah, congrats, CJ. Super cool.
Thank you. I definitely, I take it as a win. The night before, well, actually 2 days before the competition started, I was already out in New Jersey. And one of the other guys, Louis Bilecki, I hope I said your last name right if you're listening. Sorry. Really, really cool dude. He's from Germany. He is top 0.1% on iRacing, but he had also flown out like 2 days early. So I'd asked him the day before the competition. I'm like, hey, man, you want to go go-karting? And, just kind of blow off some steam, have some fun, get to know him a little bit. And, man, we got out there. And, like, I think y'all all know, like, I do a lot of sim racing. I go home, I get a race on my lunch break. I usually get a race before I leave for work in the morning.
Every Thursday,
usually doing a couple every night.
track.
Going karting every Monday or Thursday. But I spend a lot of time on the sim. And I talked to Lewis for 5-10 minutes, and I was like, I am ignorant at this. Like that dude is a professional. So I'm really excited to see where his career goes. He's an awesome dude. Glad to call him my friend at the end of the competition.
That's awesome.
I told him at Ward's ceremony after we had figured out where we all placed. I'm like, hey man, I guess that karting made a difference, 1 and 2. But it was an amazing opportunity to even make it to the finals. I have no regrets. I put all the work in, and I want to keep doing the same, keep that momentum rolling. But no, Lewis is he's a professional already.
That's awesome.
I'm excited to see what happens. So.
Heck yeah. Ethan, what about you? What about how was your start up here? How's it been going? And what are your plans for your future? What do you want it to look like?
Well, I guess before this, I was doing electrical work.
Mm-hmm.
So certified electrician, was doing that for 4 years. And I always wanted to work on cars. So ever since I was little, it was watching like Tokyo Drift and stuff with my dad and like getting into that. And that eventually did bring me into what my drive is today. Is I want to get into drifting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that would be really cool. But I guess doing electrical work for a while, I was making good money and stuff, but it really just wasn't, I didn't have people I could relate to at work. I wasn't waking up every morning like excited to go to work. I was, trying to find ways around it, or, trying to find other jobs I could go out and do, but it was just, that was the best at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then CJ brought me out to a race weekend. It was a WRL endurance race and 2-day weekend, and it was extremely fun. So it was everything I ever dreamed of, just going out there and just being around the people, getting to talk to people that are kind of think the same and have the same interests and stuff like that. And I was drawn toward it, and I was just like, I need to know how do I get there? How do I continue to do this? And I came here and I talked to Silvio and Kurt and Daniel and Cody, talked to them all, and found a spot for me in here and squeezed on in, and been working my hardest to try to keep that going. what made electrical a kind of a interesting work environment was the people around me. They weren't what they were working for and what they were working toward weren't the same goals that I was. I guess I was looking a little bit more in the dream kind of area of goals, and they were all now doing the right things in some places where they were stuck supporting the family, and I say stuck, but you know, it's hard to have a freedom to go find another job that you love whenever you have to support your loved ones and
Right.
you have responsibilities and stuff. Then there was a lot of guys that were just there working their life away, and that was everything they lived for. That was not something I was really wanting to live for.
No, it's completely fair.
Attic insulation and being under houses wasn't very fun. So, but coming over here, like working with cars now and getting to talk to different people and getting to travel different places and getting to see things around the car world is, I wake up every morning with a smile now, you know, and like getting to, I guess, start to live my dream and start to work toward what I want. And that's really just living in the car world and getting to work with cars.
Right.
So there's no real set thing to do. I just want to be around this. So like getting to talk to these customers and stuff, like I'll spend 30 minutes talking to a customer about random
That's always the
off-point
best.
things about, you know, a car that neither of us own. And but it's been a dream come true coming over here, especially getting to talk to like Daniel, Kurt, and Silvio. Like everyone here has brought me in. It feels like a big family. And
Dude, electrical work sucks. I had the opportunity to work with my uncle for like a good week.
yeah,
My first day on the job, I was removing insulation. I had no long sleeves on.
dude, that's rough.
After work,
Yeah, dude, that was
it was
me, like,
terrible.
I'll tell you, like after a while, you get used to it, and like you get in a routine and stuff where like, oh man, I forgot my long sleeves. It'll be all right, you know. Get home, take a really hot shower. Hopefully, it all just like falls off. Don't touch anything. But yeah, I remember, you know, getting into electrical work at first. It was like my dad recommended it to me, and it was like, oh, this looks like a good line of work. You know, I can make a good amount of money and all that, and you know, getting into it. I remember the first time I did messed with service wire, and it was just thick wire, and it's just, you know, that's the stuff that goes from the city into your house. And you know, I remember trying to bend that, and I was like, you know what, maybe this one's not for me. You know, this one's,
You guys are leaving out the most interesting story.
I was
about y'all.
literally just about to say that.
The most
Oh.
interesting story I've ever heard.
So I was senior year of high school. I just turned 18, and like I've always wanted to do bull riding. Like I always wanted to ride a bull. Like I saw it, I was like, you know, that is so cool. That is sick. You know, that looks like a lot of fun. I love adrenaline. Adrenaline rushes are like awesome. So I've done a lot of different sports, but I hit this guy up since, you know, we were kind of hanging out around the time, because I was like, you know, I'll take a buddy with me. Why not? And there's this bull riding clinic, and, you know, you go out, you pay $30 and you get to ride a bull. And, you know, I
Sounds
went
really
out there
safe.
and yeah, it was,
I was gonna say, he probably asked me because he knew I was the only other guy that was dumb enough to go do it. Or else
But-
would have looked at him.
yeah.
Talking about.
Should you tell them about wrestling the alligator?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that too.
there is that too.
These guys are
Yeah.
leaving out the best stories.
So I was at,
Like, that was like 2 weeks later.
yeah, it was right after the bull riding clinic. I was working at Tractor Supply at the time, and this guy comes in. He goes, "Hey, you think you're tough, man? You think you're all that?" And I was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, sure. What job you got? What do you need done? And he goes, "I need you to wrestle an alligator." And I was like, okay, cool. All right, we can do that. So it was 11 and a half feet long, and up in Gunner, Texas. They got it from Houston, and they had it in this little U-Haul trailer, and
What?
It
like,
wasn't a little U-Haul trailer, but it
Oh, yeah,
was an
I mean,
enclosed
yeah.
U-Haul trailer.
it was an enclosed U-Haul
Big
trailer,
enough to fit an
but
11-foot alligator
Yeah.
in.
I mean, what,
Exactly.
you went and picked it up from like Louisiana or
No, it was down in
Alabama?
Houston, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
'Cause
I
it
thought it
was-
was from a different state, but it was like he went and drove at least 3 hours to pick this thing up. Like
Yeah.
went and rescued it from like a community pond or something.
Rescued
Yeah.
it just to fight it.
no,
No,
put
no,
it in
he,
his.
he has like his backyard is like a full like refugee for like, he has
Yeah.
gators
Say,
and
like,
crocs.
he's-
like,
What does he
he's
need
he's got the little
the gator
babies.
for?
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
got this
gator
whole
man.
like shack in his backyard where he like nurtures the babies and stuff. Has these little
That's
tanks in
crazy.
it and all
Like,
that.
that's
but
what he does. He just travels and rescues.
He's the
like,
gator man
big
in the
reptiles.
neighborhood.
Yeah, he's the Gator Man in Gunner, Texas. That's
awesome,
yeah.
though.
So, but yeah, we went out there, and once again, it was one of those things where it's like I only know one other dude that'll want to do this with me, so I called him.
Dude,
'cause-
it's like 7:30 at night. I'm like getting ready for bed. I was playing football at the time, so I was going to bed super early, waking up super early, and like I remember so vividly. I'm literally about to step into the shower, and my phone starts ringing, and I'm like, okay, pause, and turn around, go pick up my phone. It's Ethan. Okay, yo, what's up? You want to wrestle an alligator? What? Said you want to wrestle an alligator? I'm like, yes, but what? Like, what are you talking about? You're like, don't worry about it. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. I'm like, okay.
Like, okay.
I just go hop in the shower. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, he's got to be messing with me, right? Like, there's no way. I'm talking to him tomorrow. And this was like Tuesday, and we ended up going out there like on Friday, He's just like, yeah, I met this guy at work last night, and he wanted someone to help him wrestle an alligator. I guess he's got like a little reservation. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like expecting that it's not going to be anything crazy too, right? And but I'm like, of course, this was shortly after I had kind of made a decision in my life. I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of every opportunity I'm given. Like, I don't want to say no. So like, I had to say yes either way. But the other side of me is like, he wouldn't be asking like two random, 17, 18-year-olds to come help him do this. Like if it was actually dangerous, right? Like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe we're actually just going to wrestle an alligator, but
honestly, if you talked to the dude and you met him, I mean, I'm sure, like when you met him, you understood.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I wouldn't have been
pulling up to
surprised.
the house. I remember pulling up to his house, like going down the driveway, and I was like, I don't know, man.
What made you
And
even
it has
say
been like
yes?
spitting
What made
rain
me
all
say
day
yes?
too,
Yeah,
so it was like misty
I always
and
say
foggy.
yes. I'm just like, why not? I always like to, like CJ was saying, like just do things. I want to have stories.
That's fair.
But
That is
I mean,
fair.
in all fairness, like that's a core part of my story. I love to tell people about how I kind of like got into the automotive world because at the time I was working, I was I knew that I wanted to end my landscape company and go start working on cars. And I had worked at like a HVAC shop. I had built fences with like one of the football coaches. I'd done a lot of different things, but I was like, I really want to go focus on working on cars. And not too long before that, I had gotten a job with a performance shop up in McKinney. Well, I say I had gotten a job. Like, I had talked to them, kind of let them know, like, this is what I've done, this is what I want to do, whatnot. They're like, yeah, sounds good. I graduated, like, when I had first talked to them, I was like, I was going to graduate in, like, 2 or 3 months. And then, like, pretty much the same time that I was going to graduate, one of their techs was going to leave to go to the Marines. So, like, perfect, we'll bring you in, you have that spot. Like a week before the whole wrestle, like alligator thing, I was like telling some friends about it, and lo and behold, one of them that had already been apprenticing at a dealership for a while, like had went and talked to a place where I was supposed to have the job, and like basically kind of went and got the job out from under me, which I totally understand it on their end. He had 2 years of apprentice experience at that point. Like, I didn't have anything to prove for what I, had done working on cars and whatnot. Really, the only thing that I could show him is like, hey, I have a work ethic. I built these companies for myself,
Right.
So, that had fallen out, and like I had no clue what I was going to do. Like, I think that moment in itself could have like totally crushed me from ever pursuing all this, because it was like, wow, like this really can be a brutal environment. Like if I want to go be part of motorsports specifically, and we're out there, helping this guy. When we had first got there, he was still like building the pen that we were going to put the gator in, which of course is just T-post and some cattle panel.
I was gonna say.
I don't even know if it was cattle panel or was it just chicken wire.
I was gonna say, is it just chicken wire?
One of the two. I can't
That's what I
remember,
picture in my head.
honestly.
Is just some like broken 2x4s just stuck in the ground and some chicken
Pretty
wire
much.
loosely wrapped around
Yeah,
it.
and a 12-foot gator inside of it.
It's like maybe knee height.
Yeah, we're helping him, and you know, like we had got out there. It was like a nasty day. It was misting, raining outside. But he's like, he had to get the gator out of the trailer, so it's kind of like whatever. And we're out here helping him drive T-posts in the ground. And he's asking us about what we want to do, what we currently do, and like what we want to do and whatnot. And I'd kind of tell him about that situation. He's like, "Well, have you ever heard of the shop like right down the street?" You know, he was up in Gunner, and he's like, you should go talk to him. It's a old like hot rod classic shop. I don't know anything about them, but every time I drive by, they got a bunch of cool old cars sitting out front. And I ended up finding out the shop. It was Hickman Creations, and I gave Keith Hickman, you know, one of the brothers that kind of started the whole thing. I'd given him a call like the next day once I had found the number and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, we're always looking for work. You know, come on up here. I'd love to talk to you." Went up there, talked to him, and he's like, "So when do you want to start?" I guess I can come tomorrow.
That's awesome how that all connects to it, though. That's kind of crazy.
And it all just, you know, it's taking advantage of the opportunities that you have. You
Yeah.
know? I got hired there to clean cars. Like, it was basically an old steel mill. And so we had like birds that were living inside of it. Nests were always falling out, bird poop. Like, it was a mess. It was a really, really cool environment. Like, the vibe of that place was immaculate, especially to go work on all of these 60s cars, you know, like old classics,
Right.
60s older, and some newer stuff. But, you know, like pretty much everything in there was from the 60s or 70s, and like we're in this old, it was just a vibe. Ethan had been there quite a few
Yeah,
times.
it
like,
was pretty run down, but like it was sick.
it worked.
It was a cool
Like,
rundown.
It
you know?
worked really, really
It matched
well.
with the vibe. Of
It was that perfect bit where it's still functional, but
Right.
like run all the way down.
It's patina. It's
The
patina.
only problem was if, you know, we got like heavy rain, then the fab area would just flood because, you know, it was like downset like an extra foot into the ground, but beside the point.
When the winds get bad, you're like, everybody just go ahead and go home. Hopefully there's a
Yeah.
building to come home back to tomorrow.
No heat or AC, so like we would basically prep all of the cars for paint like right around like spring and fall. Like there was a very short window of time that we're like, we have to have all of the cars painted, like wet sanded, out of the paint booth, get the next one in, like just try and run them through. But yeah, I, you know, just got hired there as like a shop tech, and, you know, just clean the shop, help out around. And it was like 2 weeks later, I was finally about to like graduate. It was the week of graduation, and he's like, "Well, you said you have tools, right?" "Yeah, a couple. I don't have a whole lot, but I'll run up to Harbor Freight and get the rest of what I need. And, you know, just let me know. I'd love to show you my box." And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. You know, just bring it up here on Monday." Okay. So I brought it up like that Friday, and then you know, graduated like that weekend or whatever. I don't know when you actually graduate. Is your last day of school?
I don't even remember.
But, you know,
either.
got done with high school and showed up at 8 a.m. on Monday. He takes me into the back. He goes, "So you said you know how to weld, right?" "Yeah, you know, my dad started teaching me how to weld when I was like 7. "You ever done sheet metal?" "No." "You're gonna find out today, boy." He brings me back there, and there's an old 72 like C10 chassis sitting on the like little frame table, and he's like, "So you're gonna start cutting the drip rails off. Cut 3 inches, tack it up, cut it, tack it up." And like, it was interesting to me because I remember telling them, like, when I first started, I was like, I don't know how much I want to do body work. Like, I love the mechanical side of things. I don't know how much I can do body work. Like, I can see that annoying me. And my first job was body working and prepping that C10 cab. You know, starting with the welding and whatnot. Right. And there's a ton of guys, you know, just a ton of experience there. Like, I grew so much working there. But yeah, it's just, that was straight into the fire, you know, go figure it out. And I figured it out and got me here today.
That's awesome, though. You know, I think we all have kind of the similar stories of just being younger guys and starting in the automotive field at a very young age. Has there been anything surprising for y'all that has either shocked you in a good way or a bad way about being young in this field? Whether it's, how do older guys or competitors treat you, or even customers at that?
I've noticed honestly like a lot of respect. Like being younger and being where we are and the stuff that we're doing and the work that we've put out and stuff and the work that people see, I feel like there's a lot of respect from people that are older than us, looking down like, all right, cool, these kids know what they're doing, you know, and you know, maybe they got a chance,
Yeah.
you know, instead of looking at it like, oh man, this next generation is screwed kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of respect, and honestly, even going out to the track and stuff and out places, I don't know much myself. I'm learning as I go, and I've learned so much in the time that I've been here. And but you know, being in that position, people are wanting to teach.
Right.
I've noticed like people want to spread their knowledge and stuff, and want to see the younger generation grow. And I guess going back to electrical work, I didn't see any of that at all in electrical work. It was a lot of like, oh, you're the younger guy, you don't know anything, you haven't been doing it, you know, get out of the way, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then the respect from contractors and stuff, where it's, you know, they've been working with this one guy for 15 years, and then they see me, you know, 19, 20 years old, walk in, and I'm like, hey, I'm here to wire your panel up and stuff. And he's like, you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, I've done a couple hundred panels at this point. I think I know what I'm doing. So, but yeah, I've noticed a lot of respect, and, you know, a lot of them a lot of people wanting to teach me stuff, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can, take bits and pieces from everyone around me, and, you know, put it into my work to make my work better and stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm very appreciative of that. So,
Absolutely.
I second that for sure. It's always funny when people ask me like, "How old are you?" I'm like 21. They're like, "What?"
I find the same. Like, you always surprise people with like the age that we are. But I mean, when I first got into this, like more of the hot rod scene, I could definitely say that there was some like, you don't know what you're doing. You're 18 years old, and I was okay with that. I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and I was just like, that's great. I want to learn, and that's, you know, I think Ethan touched on it and really, really great. Like that was one of the things I found out really early on, like in that environment where it was like, you're young, you don't know. Like, okay, that's fine. Like I know I don't know. Can you teach me? You know, and it's wanting to learn and like being passionate about what you do and having a work ethic, you know. Like I think people see that we care about this, that we care about what we do. We want to learn, we want to get better, and we want to do the best that we can every day. And, you know, I think that earns more respect than age ever could.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever we might lack in experience, we make up for and drive.
And
you know?
drive. No, absolutely. I was going to say, you know, because it's the same thing. You'll have a lot of the guys that are like, you are young, you don't know what you're doing. And as soon as you show that eagerness to learn and just willingness, I guess, too, and you're like, hey, show me. Like, I want to get good at this. And you actually have a good work ethic. That's when they're actually like, oh, like, yeah, I'm absolutely willing to show you whatever you want to know. And I see more of a willingness too from them because they want to pass their knowledge down to the younger generation, because these are skills that are slowly but surely starting to go away more and more and more, because people just want to do cryptocurrency and day trading stuff, or nobody really wants to work with their hands or do stuff like we are in the automotive field. And so it's really important for those people to be able to pass their skills and their knowledge down to a younger generation like us. So I guess our next topic too would be any automotive hot takes. So like, I guess for me, mine's would be how expensive cars have been getting lately, and then just how bad the build quality is. People are going around and spending anywhere from 70 to 100 grand on some of these vehicles that we're seeing, especially like trucks. And the build quality is just not there. And so it's like these vehicles are going to fall apart within 5-7 years maybe. And with how expensive they're getting, people aren't going to be able to keep up with buying a brand new vehicle or financing a brand new vehicle that often. And people are going to start realizing that and probably just start going back to used cars, right? And so I think unless there's a actual change in the market, whether they bring the prices down or actually start putting quality work back into the cars, you know, the automotive industry just kind of looks scary sometimes in that point of view.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed some build quality issues with like interior and stuff. Like you get inside and you're like, I feel like I could just break this off right now. Like the you know, vents and stuff like that. But even like underneath, I'm doing a lot of alignments and stuff, and like noticing like a lot of the eccentrics and adjustments and stuff under there, they don't feel solid. You know, they don't feel like they could last, I should say. You know,
Right.
they'll last a couple of years, but you know, getting adjusted, or if you have like a track car and stuff and you don't swap over to, say you're in, you know, a certain class and you have to keep, you know, stock stuff going, it's going to wear through pretty quick, I feel like. So, you know, doing adjustments and moving those eccentrics around and that, but even like getting down to it, like it's getting harder to work on the cars too. Like they're making it like trying to make, you know, smaller shops not a thing anymore.
No,
you know,
absolutely.
make it not possible for you to go and get exactly what you want done. You know, you have to go through the dealership and, you know, do stuff with, because it's all computer ran and stuff now. Like resetting the service on one of the newer 911s that came through, like you can't reset the service after you do the oil change without, you know, some stuff from the dealership. It's a computer software they have, and they haven't released it and all that. So, you know, it's pretty expensive to get all that stuff
Right.
too. Like even the scanners and stuff that we have now are really cool and they do a lot of things, but you know, the fresh cars coming off the lot, the scanners aren't going to work with them and stuff. And they're just, you know, putting up more firewalls and that to block us shops from helping people out, I guess.
No, absolutely.
No, I think the thing that worries me and where a lot of these problems are stemming from is the technology that we have in cars is increasing exponentially right now. I think that's really cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm concerned that the technology is exceeding our capabilities.
Yep.
And that's, it seems like a lot of the issues kind of stem from that right now. You know, I think it needs to slow down. We need to be able to catch back up. Instead of fine tuning and fixing something that we introduced 5 years ago as a company, you know, maybe we don't put out a new version of it this year. We actually make it better.
Make it better. Yeah, absolutely.
Make it work, fix the issues.
Yep.
And I don't know, I've worked on a lot of different cars. I will say, you know, that's part of what I love about what we do here is I get an opportunity to work, you know, mainly on Porsches. I was never a Porsche fanboy. Now that I work on them, I get it. You know, from an engineering standpoint, from a mechanical standpoint, like it's really even just like the longevity. I trust what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you know, it seems very well built, but there's stuff that I work on that is, it's definitely concerning. And it's not, you know, I don't think it's gonna fall apart and kill anyone. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, not so much are we going to be able to keep this this car on the road in 10 years because of the mechanical components. I'm worried about what all these electronics are going to do.
Yep.
And, you know, one of the big things that they've always talked about, like when coming out with drive or brake-by-wire systems and stuff like that, is, you know, that does have the potential to kill someone.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're going to release these things, like they need to be fine-tuned and working before they're going out into the public. I don't think the public needs to be beta testing new technology. That's really my biggest concern right now.
Completely fair.
With the longevity of cars.
No. Yeah. What about you, Carson?
It's funny for us because it's like the same thing on the detailing side. Like paint's getting thinner and there's more defects in cars for us to have to remove. So it's definitely getting harder with newer cars.
I won't name any brands, but I mean, there's a couple of the American-made cars that we'll have coming in here, and we've counted 30 plus nibs
It gets
in the
crazy.
paint. It gets crazy. You know, Rupa's thankfully just dropped this new tool that's a little denibber, and it makes it so much faster than us having to sand out every single one and then having to correct from there. But it's kind of crazy because some of these cars, again, like I said, are priced at 130,000. Some of them are 175,000 for these vehicles, and we are counting anywhere from 20 to 30. I think we've gotten up to like 36
Yeah, yeah.
nibs. And you know, when you're applying film, those things will stick up, right? And you'll see it in the film. And so it's our job to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible and as clear as possible before we apply that film. And that can be kind of a trick. But again, when you're looking at a car that is that much, like, why do you have this many paint defects? And it's always kind of funny when we talk to the clients and we're like, yeah, we're going to have to do a paint correction. And they're like, it's a brand new vehicle. Like, I just brought it off the lot. I'm like, sorry, but that really doesn't matter. There's so many different variables that go into it that most of the time these brand new cars that come in with less than 10 miles on them will have so many defects on it that you're like, oh, this is a used vehicle. And you're like, nope, this is right off the showroom floor. Like, it's brand new. But as Carson was saying too, clear coat is starting to get thinner, and it makes our job harder because it's less material that we have to work with. And it is harder to make sure that we're keeping a uniform look, right? If there's a super deep scratch on one panel, we don't want to make a flat spot on that panel and then everything else looks different, right? About a lot of what we're doing is a blending process to make everything look uniform. And sometimes when you're having very low amounts of clear coat like we're facing now, it can make our job a little hard. So
I'll ask the really hard question about that. I mean, what do y'all think the solution is?
No robots in the paint booth.
either that or they need to make those robots start actually using,
turn up the notch.
yeah, like turn up the notch,
Yeah.
use a little bit more clear coat, or even honestly just having a better QC process before these vehicles are leaving their manufacturer to begin with, right? Because like I said, a lot of these cars are brand new, just shipped off the boat, and the things that you're finding are things that should have been caught at the facility, and they're not. And unfortunately, the dealership not all the time is going to want to be the ones that fix that. So they're just going to make it the client's issue, right? And then the client gets a brand new vehicle and they're like, what the heck? Now I got to go spend another couple of grand to make the car look good, but I just bought it. How does that make sense? So,
Well, and I think, I guess, a better way to word that question is like, all that costs more money, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we cut costs and also fix these issues? I mean, to me, it comes back to the technology thing, right?
Right.
I think we're putting a lot of technology in new cars, and once again, not that I think that's a bad thing. A lot of these things, you know, the ADAS systems that we've had in the past 5 years even have exploded in how good they are. You know, the not self-driving, but the semi-autonomous driving kind of stuff, like maybe a little bit different, but the safety features that come with all that, like, I think are amazing. Do we need a screen that costs $2,500?
Right.
You know, that's really where my questions start to come in.
Well, and the biggest answer,
do
I
we
guess,
still
would
have
be
good
is
cars and cut
for
costs?
profit, right? Is just because they have stockholders of the company that they're trying to make happy and beat a new record that they set last year, right? If one year they made 2.5 billion, right, then this year they're going to want to make 3. Well, what's the only way to do that? Drop the newer, better model and get consumers to keep buying their cars. And so if you keep doing it and keep making them more money, well, then they're like, okay, well, the game's working, so we might as well just keep on doing that. And so I think until as the consumers, until we say, hey, we're not going to keep buying y'all's cars unless y'all are actually going to make them decent, I don't think there's going to be a change, because people are completely fine with just buying and buying and buying and buying and consuming, because we are in a consuming culture, if you would.
Yeah, I feel like cars are, I guess, more disposable now. So they're just, you know, you use them for a year,
Yep.
maybe 2, just
And throw
on
it
to
away.
the next one.
Yep.
So
I just wonder too, with all of these new cars and like you were saying, all the technology on them, you keep getting rid of these cars. Well, all those cars got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're just putting them in all these landfills and whatnot, and you're like, man, that's going to be a lot of cars that are just going to start piling up over time, you know? So.
Yeah, and the amount of materials in those now, like, I mean, now you have EV cars and hybrids. Those have batteries in them. Those batteries don't like to be disposed of.
Right.
So they're hard to handle, and along with like all the other features that are in your car. It's not like a 70s Camaro rotting out in a field, where
Right.
it's mostly metal, some cloth, and some, leather in there. But, you have
About 5 wires running through the whole car.
yeah, exactly 5 right in total.
I'm
but-
cool with the 70s Camaro rotting out with the field. It's a pretty cool look, but
Yeah.
Tesla sitting in a field just like rotting out somewhere. I'm like, what is
No,
that? Get out of here. Yeah.
Like half the car is made out of copper, gold, and silver, whatever. So I mean, those are just gonna sit there, corrode, and it's not good for the environment either.
Absolutely.
So, but
Well, I guess one of the more lighthearted questions then too were, if you guys were to win the lottery, what would be your signs?
A boat and unlimited bikes. I'd have so many bikes. You wouldn't see the end of the bikes.
You
have to
just go
pedal
buy
all of 'em,
SC
right?
out
I
completely.
buy all the bikes.
I think you just buy SC out completely.
Yeah. And a boat. I might have a bike on the boat.
Like a
that's
yacht.
valid.
Yeah, that could
Like a
work
yacht?
too. Yeah.
I'd say I'll have a floating skate park.
Yeah, floating.
That's a good idea.
That actually would be cool. Just get a barge.
What about you, Ethan?
Got probably like a 70s, 80s Lada Riva 2100 series just slammed
Yeah.
on some BBSs, some nice BBSs in there. So that'd be nice. Suede interior.
Heck
Go
yeah.
hard. That's about it.
That's
all.
it.
I'd
That's
have.
all.
I'd
That's
just
all
be
you
whipping
have.
around,
Yeah.
man. Everything
And then
else,
just leave it
I'll
all in the bank.
Yeah, leave it all in the bank. Use it on go karting and
Hey,
you know
simple man. I love it. Simple man.
other things.
What about you, CJ?
Oh, I'd find a way to race something. GT
Yeah.
cars, I want to race something fast. I want to go fast.
That's
And I'd
fair.
probably find myself like an old. I mean, it's unbelievable cost wise, but I think a little RS 200 daily. That'd be
Yeah.
insane. Group B legend.
I think you'd either see me daily driving like a 70s Challenger or like an ACR Viper. And you'd be like, hey, guys,
Yeah,
what's
that'd
up?
be valid.
But that would literally be my only sign. Everything else I would just keep completely normal. So if S Collective were to build a car for all the right and wrong reasons to turn heads, what would you want that car to be? Or type of build? We can do that.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm just
first?
starting with you. We'll just start with you and then work
I'm
your way
still
down.
trying to figure out what my answer is.
all right, I can go first. I would definitely say like a rally car would be really cool to get into that kind of that scene. Whether it be like an older Audi or a like a Subaru WRX, and just kind of pimp it out and just go to the rallies and beat it up. I think that would be kind of cool.
Hey, I know a driver.
I think I do too.
In high school, one of our buddies in auto tech had a Volvo 240 wagon. I'd love to see a drift Volvo with put some sort of 4-cylinder diesel under the hood.
Yeah.
And super clean. It's got to be, we'll put the best PPF on it and stuff. I want that interior, spick and span kind of thing, but one of those ones where you got the big deep dish wheels on there and, rolling through, turns heads, but can slide hard.
See,
Doesn't
I
go
don't
fast,
even
but,
want
slides.
the rally car to look good. I want it to be like dented and beat it up and just have
that's
S Collective logos all over it,
That's valid. I mean, give it a couple events and the Volvo will be a drift missile, so it'll have that vibe to it.
Fenders
So,
hanging off of it.
yeah, exactly, dragging a bumper.
Personally, I think we do it with a Porsche because
Dude,
It's
the
just
Safari
something
that we
cool.
have in would be really cool to rally.
Safari would be cool, but I don't know. There's just any of them,
You want your RX-8 out there?
I mean, yes, I already do that.
I think we need a Honda K truck, one of those little ones.
Yeah.
Put the big S Collective sticker on the window. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Baja.
Suzuki AltaWorks parts van.
Baja with the K truck.
Oh,
That would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Other
Lift
than the
it
fact
on
he'd
some
flip
huge
it.
wheels.
Just make it wide. You make it wide enough, it won't flip. You know,
I'd be worried he'd jump and just,
flip over itself. It'll do front flips. It'll be all right.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Put a roll cage.
Start doing stoppies with it. Just
Yeah.
You've seen one of those guys that'll put like the like a roll cage on the outside of it, so when they do stoppies, they can just roll forward.
Yes. You keep on rolling with
And
it.
just keep doing that. That'd be funny. All right, well, guys, this has been episode 15 of the S Collective podcast. Before we get out, do any of y'all have any shout outs?
shout out my boy Lenny. I know you're out there working. Get it done.
Get it done. Prepping the Escalades.
Yeah.
You two have any shout outs?
I thought he was gonna say his mom.
Shout out my mom. She holding it down.
You did last time. I think you shouted out Cooper, your mom, Lenny, Imran. I think you shouted out just about everybody.
Everybody knows who's getting a shout out from me. Shout out everybody. If you know, you know.
You want to shout out the Wheelie Club?
Nah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Doses.
See ya.